This is What a Week.
What a week. Politricks.
Eta, we come back. Welcome to another episode of WAW What a Week, #Politricks. Listen, it's been a week and a half, a diplomatic baton passing with hidden trade nerves. A fiery ad hoc showdown, a G20 debrief hijacked by Brazilian gossip, a quiet storm brewing inside the DA, and a corruption scandal that's forcing a high court judge out of her own office and building. Let's get straight into it. My name is Fresh, his name is Botsang, and you're stuck with us for the next hour.
Yes, good morning, Fresh. Morning, for us and yours. I'm okay, my brother.
Very, very good.
It feels so strange that a few days ago we were sitting here because we recorded the previous show.
Yeah, we did Monday for Monday.
And by the way, the backlash, it came out positive. Actually, after watching the show, most of the viewers and for us said, actually, it's good you recorded on Monday. Now we got updated news, but it was a good idea. Thanks to you.
Yeah, that was precisely the idea. Let's actually wait for the G20 summit to finish. But it seems like the G20 summit is not finishing.
No, the G20 summit is going to be with us for the next few months at least. We're going to have drama almost every week.
Because as expected, our favorite petulant president has taken everything personally, and he posted on his Truth social network that South Africa will not be invited to the G20 summit. And DIRCO have responded. Let's talk about that.
Yes. Actually, it was DIRCO, then subsequently the presidency.
Yes.
Because this is an attack to President Ramaphosa, as the head of state back to the country, South Africa. First of all, I think you said it correctly when you are saying it was expected that Trump will react. We didn't think this soon. We didn't think this way as well, blatantly to say South Africa is not invited. When South Africa it's part of the host or the party. The host is the country, but
you're a founding member.
Yeah.
So you are in that club for as long as the club exists.
Exactly. And it can never be a G20 without one. If South Africa decides to abstain, or any other state for that matter decides to abstain voluntarily for whatever reason they may have, it will continue like it continued in South Africa when the USA abstained. But for the USA to say one of the member states, named the Republic of South Africa, will not be invited, it's completely incorrect. And I think this reaction of the Americans, I thought they will give us hard time, but not in this fashion to say we can't come to our own meeting, because there's our meeting as well. And I think
so do you think, just in terms of whether there's a founding document or whatever else of the G20, they even had a remedy for something like this? Because surely they never anticipated that one day would have a petulant president as one of our chair people.
Based on my experience, and I'll mention the SADC, SADC, based on the AU Charter, based on the BRICS Charter, they will have a clause on what forms a quorum. They will have that clause. And they will also have a clause that say the hosting country must know that actually member states representatives traveling to the host country are traveling under the official or diplomatic passports of the country.
I'm not on a visitor's visa.
Yes, they're not on a visitor's visa. And even when you issue a visa, first of all, it's going to be a business visa or a working visa. It will state G20 summit. That's what it will be specifically, not and valid for probably the period of the summit, or for those who are doing group work and Sherpas who work from the beginning to the end, not only at the end of the summit. They will probably get a 1-year visa. So it is not up to the Americans to decide on that. It is up to the charter of the G20 that defines on how member states must conduct themselves.
But we are here now. Do you think the other 18 have a responsibility to call out Trump on this? Do you think they will? Or does every nation, look at which side the bread is buttered before they utter anything?
Looking at what happened in the Republic of South Africa last weekend, I think the majority of the G20 states will call out the USA. Germany, actually, the embassy of Germany in the Federal Republic of Germany in South Africa, they already issued a statement on Thursday morning on their social website. They issued a statement, the ambassador issued, to say Americans cannot behave like that as if they are owning the G20. South Africa is a member of the G20.
Yes.
So Germany has already reacted. I'm expecting BRICS member states or friends of South Africa, whether on the global south or north, in this instance, Brazil, Russia, China, and India, I expect them to react, especially Brazil. President Lula is going to react very fast on this. And President Modi or Prime Minister Modi of India, you know their relationship with America, especially with investments and IT equipment. He may wait a little to watch the situation, but the correct thing to do, Fresh, it will be for a G20 member states to come out with a joint position or statement. That will be the correct thing to do, to call out one of their members, which is the USA, to say, but you can't conduct yourself outside the parameters and the engagements and the protocols of the G20 and the Vienna Convention as well, because this is part of international and multilateral engagements. This is a multilateral forum. It's not I'm hosting a party, it's my birthday, I'm going to invite. It's not a USA party. But I think South Africa has handled it correct so far by responding through DIRCO diplomatically to say, we are members of the G20, we will go there to do our job. But I've listened to Mr. Vincent Magwenya from the presidency saying President Ramaphosa is very clear that he's not going to be bullied by the US. If they want to impose trade embargoes and penalties on us, let them go ahead and do it. And because they've already did two things this week. You remember last week or on Monday, we spoke about how they have softened up towards the citrus fruit
citrus and nuts.
And nuts.
Yes.
He reversed that, immediately announced that they should reverse that.
Which is ironic because citrus is orange and the man is nuts. But anyway, carry on.
I didn't see that one coming. So he immediately reversed that. He signed off the AGOA that has been pending. He signed it off to say, let's help this country. They identified a few, and he excluded South Africa. He was specific that he must exclude South Africa completely, even those where they were allowing the trade and no tariffs. It's excluded now. Actually, three things. The third thing is he said he gave instruction to the Treasury or whatever, the fiscus in the US, to stop funding the projects they've been funding in South Africa. And people were asking, what are those projects? It could be some of the NGOs for HIV and AIDS that they were still funding. Remember,
outside of PEPFAR being cut,
there's quite a few other
programs,
things, other programs that they are funding for various housing and childcare and health programs, but through various NGOs, not directly to the government of the Republic of South Africa. So they've become so harsh that they are even going to punish NGOs that are doing humanitarian help in South Africa. And we know that the South African health system has been strained also by foreign nationals, as it has been said, who are here. So it has been aid indirectly to people. But, as I said on Monday, Fresh, what Donald Trump and the Americans are doing is actually even punishing the so-called Afrikaners. Did you see he extended actually his definition of white people in South Africa? Because it has always been the Afrikaners, farmers. Now he said even the Portuguese, Germans, and French and English descendants who settled in South Africa, they are in danger. And what is disturbing is that even after
they're in less danger than your average black man on the streets of South Africa.
Yeah.
Actually,
I went to when I saw that article, I quickly went to look at the South African Police Service last quarter report, October to December 2024, of the crime report. The quarterly report we get.
Yes.
I went to look at that one, not the current. You know that in that report of the last quarter of 2024, there were 8 farm murders in South Africa. Guess how many farmers were murdered? When I say farm murders, I don't say farmers. Murders that happened in the farm.
On the farms, yes.
One farmer. Only one farmer. And it's criminality. The rest, guess who were they? They were black farm workers.
Yes.
Killed in the farm.
But the thing is, the stats don't lie. And America has enough intelligence on the ground to verify all of that? Even the American embassy probably know this is all bull.
I don't think the Americans are saying these things about violence and crime or genocide against. I don't think they are saying it out of ignorance. I think
No, it's intentional
it's
disinformation,
intentional, yes.
and it's something to hang on to.
Yes.
Because we all have a mast to want to hang on to, whatever your ill intentions are, and that's the intention. And that's why many people are arguing that drop the case at the ICC, at the
ICJ?
At the ICJ, and you'll be amazed at the turnaround, is what many people are arguing.
I actually wanted us to engage on that because I was listening to all these debates. People are saying, hey, for peace sake, for diplomatic relations, South Africa dropped the case.
I don't agree.
For me, then it will mean fellow South Africans do not understand why South Africa went into that case. What informed us? It was not because of our love specifically to Palestinians that we don't love other nations. We are a member of the global community. We have a moral responsibility as a nation. We have gone through that where other nations ganged up against the apartheid regime to say, but we are going to push sanctions. We are going to have things like the anti-apartheid movements. We are going to have protests in many countries in Scandinavia, Europe, Asia, and Latin America in support of the freedom of black people in South Africa. Now, we are doing the same thing, albeit in a different platform. We're doing the same thing in an officially created international court, which we are signatories to or we belong to. Now, when people say we should have weighed the importance of our trade with the U.S. vis-a-vis supporting the Palestinian cause, I have a problem with that. Are we saying we can't trade with any other country and benefit from what the U.S. will pull out of us? And why would the USA that has sponsored or is claiming that Mr. Trump has sponsored the peace deal in Israel, why would they not want us to do our part?
Yes.
Understand? They sponsored the peace deal. They sponsored arms that destroyed and killed people in Palestine and destroyed Gaza. We are sponsoring a legal process to say, let there be a legal process that will force those people to stop and never to do it again. And those who have committed crimes against Palestinians must face criminal prosecution. And the ICJ, by the way, is not even yet the International Criminal Court, where we are now going to look for a warrant of arrest and then Netanyahu must be charged in an international criminal. We are still in an administrative court. It's a court of justice. South Africa is seeking justice for the people of Palestine. And I will not agree with people who are saying, but why should it be South Africa that does that?
Then who must it be?
Who must do it? When they were doing it for us, other nations, not Palestinians, we know, and I've said several times, we know that people were killed in Lesotho, people were killed in Eswatini, people were killed in Mozambique,
In Botswana.
in Zambia.
Were there no attacks in Zim?
No, I don't remember Zim, but there were attacks when actually the Zimbabweans at some stage nearly killed Chris Hani.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, because of the interception of the apartheid regime. People were killed as far as Guinea, Conakry. Understand? In Northwest Africa, for the sake of the South African Republic. So we welcome that, and we said people sacrifice their lives. There's a beautiful story that one can tell that at some stage the former founding president of Zambia, Mr. Kenneth Kaunda, even passed a law in parliament where every Zambian had to donate 1 kwacha. From every 100 kwacha, donate 1 kwacha towards the funding of the South African liberation struggle. Those are sacrifices that people did. So if America doesn't want, and this is my opposition, if America does not want to trade and deal with South Africa, let South Africa look for alternative markets.
Absolutely.
They want our products.
But remember I said already in Feb that I think we need to prepare for the storm that is life going it alone, life without AGOA. That as much as it's the worst case scenario, better we go anticipating the worst case scenario than we're shocked when it happens. Because with the person that you're dealing with, he will stop at nothing to teach South Africa a lesson. And you know, I even hear people saying, yeah, but he's punishing the ANC comrades. No, this is actually bigger than punishing a particular political party. Because if it was about the party, then there'd be targeted sanctions.
Exactly.
But down targeted sanctions, this has nothing to do with the ANC at this stage.
There's nothing to do. And also, Fresh, what do we know that, for example, we are supposed to have next year FIFA World Cup being hosted in the Americas? What if this,
Bafana Bafana-
and Bafana Bafana have qualified for that? What is going to happen
You
now?
want to ban Bafana Bafana?
Yeah, what is going to happen? We've got a year after, I think, is the Rugby World Cup 2027. I think they are the hosts. What is going to happen in that instance?
I think even FIFA have been almost toothless in dealing with some of his utterances.
Yes.
Because last I understood, government interference was not
Allowed. Yeah.
when it comes to international sport, especially situations like the World Cup. You're the host nation, but decisions are made at a FIFA level. So for you to decide that because you're unhappy with what's happening in Los Angeles, because they call you out on your BS, you're threatening that you might have the matches meant to play in LA moved. You're not allowed to do that.
Look, on the other side as well, people will be lamenting that, for example, there'll be job losses if how many 600 American companies pull out here? I can count up to 10 that are major employers, like the Photo Motor Corporation company and all that. That's some of the sacrifices that a caring government would have already started planning. What if this happened? Then you talk to your counterparts in BRICS in the Middle East to say, hey, can you be on standby as investors?
Yeah.
And I said, we have the infrastructure, we have the land. We will just need foreign direct investment to go and be able to save those jobs. And I don't know if the government has that plan, but we're supposed to be in that mode of devising and developing that plan. That's one level. Look, Fresh, the relations are strained. They are at their worst. And it is not by the doing of the Republic of South Africa.
No.
It is not. South Africa has tried. We have had our president going there like a little boy begging. We have tried diplomatic engagement. We have sent envoys that were rejected. We have tried almost everything diplomatically as a nation. How much more can we as a nation do to can please the Americans for their own ego or whatever they are going through? I think one of the things, if I was in President Ramaphosa's shoes, I was actually going to reject the credentials of the United States ambassador designate, which is that right-wing guy,
Yes.
something the third. I was going to reject them because we don't have an ambassador in the US. They're rejecting whoever is recommended. I'm still surprised why South Africa has not pronounced on the proposed replacement of former Ambassador Rasool. I don't understand why the president is still not addressing. It's been almost 4 months now. The president is not addressing the issue of the special envoy, Mr. Mcebisi Jonas, who was rejected by the Americans. What are we doing? Are the credentials of the American ambassador to South Africa, have they been received?
Sure.
And I said, we don't know. And I think to put the nation at ease, those are some of the things that either the presidency or DIRCO through Minister Lamula, they must communicate to the nation, even to business people, because business is rattled.
Sure.
Yeah, and yeah, but it's going to be a very bumpy road from now until February. And we have a president of the so-called superpower, a former great country, who's actually even communicating cabinet or whatever decisions through social media. I mean, these are changing times. I don't say he can't, but I mean, if you go and you announce on X or Twitter diplomatic issues, it just shows the level that we are in the world today. And this is the president that says, I'm a good tailor, I want peace, I want trade and what, but you can't sit even on a telephone and engage with your counterpart. And this is the problem with imperialists. That's what imperialists do.
Sure.
They don't regard you as a sovereign state. And I think South Africa must never reduce itself to that level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The name you're looking for, ambassador designate from the US, is Brent Bozell III.
Bozell III.
And already he's made it clear that when he comes to SA, the first thing he's going to demand is that the ICJ case is dropped.
Yeah.
That South Africa must review her relationship with China and Russia.
Yeah.
Because he does not believe that we should be relating that closely with such nations. So already we know the kind of person
And
who's
to
coming.
also revisit our expropriation bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we know the kind of person who could be sent here.
Why would
So-
you want that person in your house?
So if you reject the credentials, what at the diplomatic level is meant to happen? Because I know it's hardly ever happened, but if it does happen,
It's exactly what Trump did when Cebisi Jonas was supposed to go there.
yeah.
They will send a note verbal. You will respond to those credentials to the American embassy, because it's them who will bring them to DIRCO. Will respond and say the Republic of South Africa has decided not to accept the credentials of the ambassador designate. If you are kind, you can give reasons, like Trump gave reasons that Cebisi Jonas is a communist, he insulted him and all that. But you can also say it's a prerogative of the Republic of South Africa.
So what happens in a case like that then? Does he go back and we say send someone else?
He's not here. He won't come until President Ramaphosa has accepted deal.
And the credentials handed to president of country opposed to in person.
Yes, at that time, but the communiques in between.
Aha.
Before you come,
So we can
there's
reject you before you
that
even pack your
ceremony.
bags.
Yes, once you are mentioned, the Americans through their embassy will notify DIRCO. This is our nominated person as approved by the Senate or the Congress. Okay, then this formality credentials of photos, you'll hand them when you arrive. When you are already here, it's a ceremony, it's a formal ceremony.
But the paperwork
However,
was
the
long
paperwork is long done.
Okay.
And I'm saying before that man packs his bags in from Washington or wherever he is, we should tell Americans like they did with Cebisi Jonas that no thanks, we don't want that person. He is not the right person to can repair our relationship or to foster our diplomatic relationship.
Sure.
Because of what he has already said. Understand? Because of what he has already said. So I think the country must do that at the moment. And then what happens that the Americans will have to go and go through the process to look for another person. Like we are going through that process as a nation. We are looking for somebody, and I don't know who is not a communist, who is not aligned to the ANC, who is loved by America here. We don't know. But we must look for a person who will be acceptable by the Americans to consent to Washington. At the rate of the way things are going, I don't think they will even accept any other nomination.
Yeah. It's sad. Are we done in the US?
Yeah, we're done, bro.
One last concern for me regarding Trump's utterances about South Africa not being invited to the G20 is that the work generally starts probably around January, February.
Yeah, end of
and,
Jan, yeah.
And there's a troika of the previous chairperson, current chairperson, next chairperson.
Yes.
So, for instance, Brazil will fall away now.
Yes, Brazil will
because
be
that work is done.
Yes.
So you need it'll probably be our Sherpa, Mosne.
Yes.
In that as part of the
the Sherpa is the last dose, which is us.
yes,
The Sherpa of the US, the current.
yes.
And the Sherpa of the UK, because they are
How
the
is-
G20 2027.
How is that going to happen? They've already there's hostility.
I'm going to actually be interested and sit and watch how the British are going to respond, because it's up to them now. How are they going to come and be a next party host when the handing over ones are rejecting the former ones? Because it won't work. The troika will not happen without South Africa. So
Yes.
Trump has actually thrown the dice, and the dice is not stopping rolling, because it has created a problem not only for South Africa, it has created a problem for the secretariat of the G20 that they're supposed to form together with South Africa and what do you call it, and the United Kingdom. Now they can't form the secretariat because the regulations are going to do that thing, to determine that this is where the regulations are. The regulations are saying this is what we must do. How are we going to do it when one of the member states is not there?
Exactly.
But again, it's calling. So the UK must come out clear the way Germany has come out. But I think between today and the next weekend, we will start hearing what other member states are going to say.
Yes.
And I think it will start giving a direction of where the wind is blowing.
Absolutely. So let's bring it back home.
Yes.
Murder accused Cat Matlala got a gang of visitors from Parliament.
He's not murder accused. Attempted.
Huh?
He's attempted murder because nobody died.
No, but how about if somebody was...
No, they haven't linked that. At the
Oh, they haven't
moment,
linked that.
They haven't linked that. There's somebody one, it's linked to...
Kati.
Somali.
Oh, yes. My bad. Time to be corrected, yes. Yeah, so attempted murder accused Cat Matlala got visitors.
Yes.
from Parliament.
Yes.
And it's been interesting. What are your thoughts on his utterances? And the fact that he went on for quite a bit about General Cele and that he felt like he was starting to be extorted, as it were. Because he's accused him of demanding money from him. He's paid him 300,000 rand, he claims, and then 200,000 rand. And then on Thursday, he even said that, I know this is not part of my submission, but I was even asked to pay for a son that he says nobody knows about. This literally was said Thursday morning.
Yeah. You see, there's the problem. Let me start by saying, the testimony of Mr. Vusimuzi Cat Matlala, it says to him, first of all, I was impressed that actually he agreed to be interviewed by the Ad Hoc Committee.
Would you be allowed to refuse?
Yeah, I've got a constitutional right to refuse. I don't know how to talk because he never made any allegations. They are making allegations about him. They can't force you to talk. And then they can. So Peter, you can go sit there and say, I don't know. What can they do? There's nothing. But I'm impressed that he's cooperated. But it also says to me, he's realizing that his net is closing up and he needs to bargain somewhere. He needs to give the country something somewhere. And it shows, his testimony says to me, Fresh, the police, whether ministry or department or what, it's fractured. It says to me, we have factions in the police. And the factions of the police, first they were influenced by the factions of the then ruling party, the ANC. They filtered into the police services, maybe even in other government departments or entities.
Sure.
But this has become clear to us that there were factions of the ANC inside the police.
Okay.
Then that's political factions. And why I'm saying of the ANC, it's clear in front of South Africans today, thanks to Cat Matlala, that there's a faction of Senzo Mchunu, the current minister, the current suspended minister, and the faction of General Betty Cele, the former police commissioner and the former minister.
Yes.
And you can see from the evidence that's coming out. That's one. Then there's a faction of police themselves, to say some group of police battalions or police, what do you call them, the top echelon of the police. Some are on the side of the previous minister, some are on the side of the current minister. But what is worse for the Republic is now there's even factions of alleged criminals and cartels that have infiltrated the police. Some are on the side of the former minister and some are on the side of the current suspended minister. And it is clear to me also that Mr. Bekitele, actually, there's an element of perjury if what Cat Matlala is telling is the truth.
But how does one even prove it, though? Because he claims that the money that he allegedly paid over to the general was drawn by his sister. Because he resigned from all
the directorship of the companies.
And that the sister would be the one who goes to draw the money. And that the first time he met the general, I think, at his apartment block in Menlyn. And the second time it was in
He drove to KZN, Look, Fresh, when alleged criminals or criminal activities and cartels do these things, they normally work in cash, which becomes very difficult to prove unless there's a trap. You understand? And the only thing we can link with is the testimony of Mr. Matlala against the testimony of Mr. Cele. That's his weight against the weight. But what normally investigators and police will do or can do, because he says one of them, he even has evidence that the money was withdrawn on a day or a day before he traveled to KZN. And you can simply say, did they meet on this day? What are the possibilities? What did he do with the money? You won't have material evidence to
that. So phone records.
You can have phone records, who was where at which stage. You understand? And
so were they both under the same cell phone tower, for instance?
Exactly. The other difficulty for Mr. Cele is that he did not deny that he was at those two places with Mr. Matlala. He did not deny. So the only thing he will deny, he will say, I never got any money. And the honors will then rest on Matlala to prove that he got the money. But that's when the lifestyle audit comes to look at what did Mr. Cele do with money during that period. Did he suddenly have, like if I wake up tomorrow and I buy 1 million vehicle cash, or I go on a holiday and I spend $500,000 cash, it will be easy for the state or for the law enforcement to say, can you tell us where did that money come from? And I said, we were on holiday in Mauritius to spend $500,000, or on estimate there were flights involved. That's why one of the MPs in there asked Mr. Matlala, and I could see where that question was coming from. They asked him, how did you travel to KZ? And then he was very clever. He said, I drove. You understand? So these people were very meticulous. But once you do criminality with the police, you become meticulous, because those who are supposed to arrest you are tipping you so that you must not leave any traces of what you have done wrong. But some of the things that Brown Mokgotsi, that everybody is regarding as a joke, had said, they've been corroborated by Cat Matlala. You understand? So, because he said they were extorting money from him. And that's what Brown Mokgotsi was saying. He probably may have not used the word, we were extorting money from Cat Matlala. But we were taking money for him.
Yes.
Another thing that Brown Mokgotsi had said, Cat Matlala has corroborated, is that Cat Matlala funded the January 8 events of the ANC. And in some of those funding, now this is where it becomes political, there's receipts, like booking of hotels. He even said, I have proved that I booked for a certain number of ANC delegates at the hotel. That's material evidence. Sure. But whether it has to do with Minister Senzo Mchunu or with individuals in the ANC, it's neither here nor there, because a lot of these people, they receive funding, donations. It will be, did they declare them? And it will only be a problem if those that he funded to go to the January 8 events, because according to them now, it was not once off, it happened over the years.
Yes.
Is it people in the police? You see, that's where then it will become a problem. Is it ANC members who are in the police service? But also remember what General Mkhwanazi said, and it was never disputed. Policemen are not allowed to belong and be actively participating, be seen in regalias of political parties. It's against the South African Police Act. So there is going to be a problem. But again, I think he saved Senzo Mchunu. He didn't yet throw Mr. Mchunu under the bus, because none of these people have come up and mentioned a direct involvement of corruption and or benefit by Senzo Mchunu in this. Instead, things have turned around that they are blaming Minister or former Minister Bheki Cele. But yeah, there was a back and forth. Another issue that came up is whether Cat Matlala met Brigadier Mkhwanazi.
Oh, yes.
And Cat Matlala said, yes, I met him. And people are saying, then it means Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, not Brigadier, sorry, General Mkhwanazi, lied under oath in Parliament. And I corrected people without defending Mkhwanazi. He never said he never met Matlala. He mentioned that Matlala tried to reach him when he was with General Cele. They called him, but he was meeting the king. And nobody posed the question, did you eventually meet him? And he never said, no, I never did. So you know, it's those questions like the other police official who said, when you were meeting with these people, Brown Mokgotsi or whoever, why? He said, I was going to extort information from them. I was trying to get information from them. It's easy for a policeman to say that. Say, no, I know this person is a criminal. I met with him because I wanted to get information from him or to trap him. So that's the challenge we are sitting with Mr. Matlala. But my observation, I don't think he's an absolute truthful witness. I don't think so.
What do you think he's lying about?
Quite a number of things. One of the things that says to me is not an honest person. It's the way he explained how he resigned from his companies as a director. You form all these companies, all the subsidiary companies, and then once there is talks of cancelling the contracts or you got the contract, then you start resigning from them one by one. You understand? Some of the people who were in the police supply chain before you the tender was awarded to you, one of the most senior persons from the supply chain or SCM, supply chain management of the subs, resigns from the police and goes and work for your company. Yeah. I think there's an element of dishonesty there.
And conflict.
And conflict. Yeah. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. Another thing that came to the highlight is that actually Cat Matlala is not stupid. I always say to be a criminal, I'm not saying Mr. Matlala is a criminal, but I'm saying to be a tsotsi, to be a criminal, you must be clever. Otherwise, you'll get caught very quickly.
Sure.
The other, it's when he said his company, there's a holding company. His company is a subsidiary company on the Tembisa hospital, what do you call it, scandal or saga and all that. So this almost wholly white-owned company that the tender was awarded to
Yes.
of Tembisa Hospital, it is the one that had experience in working with hospitals and what. He was just doing security services. So they took him in order to groom his company, to build it, and because of the BEE or Black Economic Empowerment status, therefore he will go it. But when you look at where the money went, I think in investigating the Tembisa Hospital thing, this company, what do you call it, Health 24 or something, the directors of that company must be investigated as well. Let's not limit it to the Cat Matlala because they can trace that money went to Cat Matlala's companies. But what was the interest of that company to can say, Cat, come to us so that we can take money out of this? And almost all the money went to him. But this thing of, we must also remind the followers and the viewers that this thing of Cat Matlala testifying, it has nothing to do with his criminal matter in court. It has only have to do with the a subs contract and the Tembisa Hospital saga.
Sure.
The subs contract as well. Did he deserve to get it? Was he handled properly?
But he says he got it fair and square.
He says so, and I want to believe that because there was a corrected system inside, because it was not a tender. And I looked at Cat Matlala explaining to those MPs, including the SC, he insisted, and he was very strong, saying it was not a tender, it was not an advertised tender. It was a request to provide quotation. You understand? RPQ or something like that. So what happens in that instance? A government entity or department or municipality sends a request for companies that are on their database to provide quotations for these services. You know when does that happen? When they want to steal, and also when they realize that going on tender, which, for example, the Treasury, let me use an example. The Treasury may have said that once a service is 500,000 and up, you must go tender. But once it's less, you know what they do? They say 450,000 and they say bring quotation. After 7 months, another 450,000 send quotations. That's why these people are forming a lot of small companies. So the first 6 months they give this guy, Fresh has 9 companies.
Yes.
So the first 6 months they give Fresh Company A. After 3 months they give Fresh Company B. And then they say, you see, we are not taking money to one person or to one company. But that's where investigators and investigation journalism did a good work, because they managed to find out that all these companies actually belong to one person.
Exactly.
And that's part of the corruption we're experiencing in government. Once people start saying send quotations to those in the database, and you must see there's a problem. You know that you have budgeted to spend 100 million. Now you break it up to chunks of 10, because when it's 10 million, you can use the quotation process, not the tender process.
What are your thoughts on Matlala alluding to the fact that the plan was to move Mchunu out of the way, and that he was thinking he can run for president of the ANC?
Who was planning to move him out of the way?
I think Cat said they wanted him arrested, or the general wanted him arrested.
Yes, yeah. But why would which General Mkhwanazi?
No, yes.
Like I said, it's a political battle. I look, Fresh. Why would Ele want to reduce the chances of Mkhunu? I know, and it has become clear that there are arch rivals inside the ANC. It's very clear. And this is historical from the time of KwaZulu-Natal,
Sure.
when Mkhunu was an MEC, then the premier, okay? But why would General Cele, who's not standing a chance to... Actually, he's not even an NEC member. Remember, he didn't qualify. His support base, that's why he was removed from being a minister. Now, it will not make sense to me. Why would General Cele want Mr. Mkhunu not to rise to be the the president of the ANC or of the country, unless there's something we don't know. But it doesn't make political sense to me. Why would your own comrade in the same power? Because you are not, if I'm contesting you, if you are challenging me, let's say, for example, now, Fikile Mbalula has mentioned his name that he wants to contest presidency, but there is Paul Mashatile this side, okay? Now, if Fikile Mbalula starts sabotaging Paul Mashatile and Paul Mashatile is sabotaging Fikile Mbalula, it will make sense to me why that is happening, because they are competitors. I understand, for a position, but Ella is not a competitor of Mkunu unless Ella was doing this for somebody else.
Someone else's business.
Somebody else's business. Or unless Ella was afraid that if Mkunu rises to a higher office, he may unmask other things about him when he was a police minister.
Okay, so just...
And at the moment, I think Ella is comfortable that his lieutenants that he left in the police
are still in his corner.
Are still in his corner, and they are covering up for some things. You understand that he doesn't want Mkunu to know.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the battle of law enforcers, senior, from political to top echelons of SAPS to junior people to constables to warrant officers. Everybody's involved from top to bottom. If you look at the whole chain of this whole thing, and it's very dangerous for the country.
Sure.
When those that are supposed to protect the coffers, our lives, to be VIP for what do you call it? State officials, judges, and all that are becoming corrupt.
Sure.
Are fighting amongst each other. Where does it leave us as a nation?
Sure.
And I think it's going to be very difficult to overhaul the entire South African police service, but I still have a little bit of faith and confidence that there are good men and women in blue, and we have seen them coming out during this commission. Let's bank on those people. We've seen they are good people. The Mkwanazi, I don't say they are all clean. Whether you are Mkwanazi, whether you are the national commissioner, whether you are the previous national commissioner, whether you are Atlanta Mate, whether you are a warrant officers who were witness A, B, and C, you understand? But it shows to us that there are still men and women in blue who are very, very loyal to the cause and to the country, and it assists. I mean, I also looked at the lady. Did you see the Madlanga Commission?
Yes.
During the week, it was the CFO of SAPS, who's a professional, accounting person, and she has been there for many years. And her testimony on how paperwork, she also denied that she ever met Mkunu. So Minister Mkunu misled or lied under oath when he said he engaged with the CFO about the budget of the PKTT. What that lady said, no, we never met. Yeah. And I would have never met with him because as the CFO of SAPS, I report to the commissioner of SAPS. Yes. If there's a budget proposal or funds request from the PKTT, it will go to the commissioner. The commissioner will give it to me, and then I will decide whether there's money or not, or request funds or variant funds. Then I'll report back to the commissioner. So even the CFO of SAPS had said Minister Mkunu was not telling the truth, that he was engaging to check how much the PKTT is spending, whether there's money or not. And whether she's of the view that they must discontinue it because it's costing the country too much money. But she said something very critical as well, Fresh, at the Matlala Committee. She said, as much as it was costing a lot of money per annum, but it was always planned and budgeted for.
Sure.
She also mentioned that when they were disbanding it, she was on holiday when those announcements came. However, there was a proposal from the commissioner's office with inputs from other generals and the PKTT leaders. The proposal was, let's extend this thing nationally. So she was also surprised that we were busy talking about, let's use this kitty and this skill and this task team to help us nationally. So, commissioner, who's the national commissioner? The police national commissioner. Now with the message of, I don't know why Sitole is coming to my head, Fanny Masemola. Commissioner Masemola, then it says to me, Commissioner Masemola was telling the truth at the Madlanga Commission, because her statements that they were planning to expand this thing to other provinces is now being corroborated by the CFO. Understand? She has corroborated. She said, no, there was that proposal. They had even asked me to check if we can get more money from Treasury. We can move money from other to can fund this expansion of that. So she has come and corroborated what Fanima Samuel has said to the Matlanga Commission. It does what? It again leaves Mchunu and Tsele naked. They're standing there on their own. You understand? But the funny thing is, the others rely on the testimony of the alleged criminals and businessmen who are not members of SAPS. The other camp is relying on decorated SAPS officials and senior officials. Now, our viewers and yourself can go and think, if you were a judge, which testimony would you believe more? Brown Mokgotsi or the CFO? Cat Matlala or General Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi? It is for us. We are the jury as the nation who to believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of being the jury, Judge Portia Phahlane is in the news.
Another Phahlane.
It's just Phahlane, eh?
Yes, that's Phahlane.
Yeah, she's in the news because there was a church dispute after a church leader passed away.
Yeah.
There's two factions and they're fighting for control over the church.
Yes.
Which also then says to you, that's how much money there is in the church, which maybe should spark another debate. Surely churches should be taxed. The fact that people are fighting over control of a church shows you how much money there is that they can play around with.
Yes.
And maybe if it was taxed, there'd be less money to fight over.
A church is business. You know why I said another Phahlane?
Yes.
I don't know if you picked it up. Remember there's former police commissioner Phahlane who was facing criminal charges and his name had come. I don't say they are related, but it's just, you know, these days don't be a Matlala, a Molefe, a Phahlane, a Mokgotsi. It's very difficult to read those names. I'm just joking. But Fresh, you know, this thing is very serious. Religion is supposed to be the center of the moral fiber.
Yes.
The judiciary is supposed to be the anchor of the moral fiber.
So how is there hope for anything in this country
if
judges and church leaders corrupt?
If you are emotionally not okay, one of the things that human beings do is to seek solace in a religious, let me use a church. You'll go to church or to the temple or the mosque, you'll pray, you'll meditate, you'll talk to God through your pastors and all that. Once there is injustice in your life, whether at work, whether on the streets, whether with business, you will resort to courts to seek help. Now, we're having a case in the Republic of South Africa where it is alleged that one of the biggest, if it's not the third, in my books, I think it's the third biggest church in the Republic of South Africa, is alleged to have bribed a judge of the High Court. And on Thursday, by the way, a Chief Justice, who's our Chief Justice? How do I forget my favorite justice woman? Our Chief Justice, Maya.
Oh, Mandisa Maya.
Maya. Oh, it's MM, yeah.
Yes.
Chief Justice Mandisa Maya, by the way, placed with immediate effect on Thursday.
She was very swift.
Very
swift.
She acted very, she didn't waste time.
Yeah.
But also she acted professionally by allowing her to appear in court first. Sure. She's on bail. And then this allegation, Fresh, you know, maybe I must be a judge, man. 6 million kickback. And you buy a mansion at the banks of RTPS.
Yeah.
No, guys, if this is true, if this is going to come out, and the Hawks want pounds, they will not bring it before the court. They say there's material and what do you call it, paper trail.
Yes.
Of the, you know, I don't understand if you take 6 million and you think you won't be caught. 6 million, how will you eat 6 million without being caught? But that's not the issue. The issue is what I've been talking about on this platform. And Mkhwanazi had said it. We have to look at the judiciary in South Africa.
Because it's human beings.
It's human beings.
They're not infallible.
Exactly, they're not. Also, who do we run to? You know, when that lady was in court, obviously it was a commercial magistrate court of Tswan. I was asking myself, what if the magistrate has been corrupted? Presiding over, what if? Where do we run to? we go to church to pray before we go to court. Now the church is corrupting the judge. And you know, I wanted to tell you a funny story that the radio I forgot. You know, that when that incident happened, it was very early in the morning. I was driving to the Val. I won't talk what was I going to do in the Val at that hour in the morning when that fight with machine guns, because the church it's on the N12.
Ah, yes.
The incident happened there. There was roadblocks. One day we saw people with machine guns, and I was like, hey, you know, doing naughty things in the AMs, you will be caught up in a crossfire. I was driving to the Val that year when church members were pointing rifles at each other, shooting at each other. And it was very early hours of the morning, like 6 a.m. And now, yes, after I'm sitting here looking at that incident, because this is the fight of the IPC, Episcopal Church.
Pentecostal Church,
Yes, of the late Reverend Mudisi. And the kids are fighting because it's just like the ZCC Church. It's a success. It's like a royal family. The kids succeed.
Or a family business.
It's like a family business. And it's becoming clear to us. Churches are business. How many cases in the Republic of South Africa do we have in High Court? One went even to the Constitutional Court. One is on even an international forum, and it's churches. Whether it's Bushiri, whether it's the Nigerian pastor, now IPC have joined. What's going on, guys? What is going on? It's money.
Yeah.
It's money. And I think the judiciary, in order to help us, I'm calling out to Chief Justice Maya and Ewood, they must run the lifestyle audit of all judiciary, and not only judges. They must start from prosecutors. They must go to magistrates, because a lot of cases end up in the magistrate courts. You understand? Let Minister Mamuluku Kubai and Chief Justice Maya take out a call to say AGSA, Auditor General of South Africa, Hawks, and whoever, let us run a lifestyle audit of judges or the judiciary. Everybody across the board equally. Trust me, my brother. Trust me. We are going to find shocking things there.
I mean, I look at your case where things were treated very casually.
Yes.
Like your file was there on the floor at some stage.
Yes.
At another stage, there's a document in your file.
On the judge's file, not my file.
The judge's file has a document that is fraudulent.
Fraudulent, yes.
And still the judge took the...
Even when the judge or the acting judge was warned, that document, I don't have it as Botsang, that document was found to be fraudulent in an internal hearing. You can't use it. She continued using it. But let me tell you, since you have raised the issue about my case at the Labour Court, this morning, not this morning, on Friday morning, a colleague sends me a WhatsApp who's also having a case with the employer and says to me, Botsang, something has crossed my mind. Have you noticed that we are about 6-7 employees who were dismissed unfairly? We went to the CCMA. We won our cases. The employer went to the Labour Court. 6. 5 of us have appeared before a judge.
The same judge.
Guess what? All our cases were handled by the same judge. What a coincidence. And this lady brought it to my attention. And guess what? The same judge has ruled in all 5 cases against the commissioners of the CCMA in favor of the employer. Against us.
Yes.
How does a high court allocate 5 cases or 6 cases to one judge against the same employer and same employees?
Yes.
You know, it's some of those things that one would question, and when you start realizing that, man,
and
things are not adding up.
And we should never, ever have to be in a position where we doubt the judiciary.
And it's painful.
They should be beyond reproach. It must be a agnosis, no, we don't look at the judiciary like that. But it doesn't help when you're seeing cases like this.
Yes, and again, we can even go back to the cases of Mr. Matlala himself, that at some stage he had 18 criminal cases that were already ripe and in court. One of them, he said it, Mr. Matlala said it himself, not me, not rumours. He himself in the Ad Hoc Committee said he was sentenced to a certain number of prison, But then a judge overturned that sentence, and another judge overturned it to be a suspended one. How do we arrive at that?
Yeah.
How do we arrive at that? So even amongst themselves, judges, trust me, I've seen it politically. There are judges that I know they are politically inclined. And who said we can't have some who are criminally or civilly inclined if they can be politically inclined to others? You understand what I'm saying? We have judges. I was laughing. I was saying to Advocate Dalimpofu the other day on social media platforms that we belong to. I was saying, well, now we'll never hire you, even if you volunteer to help me.
Yeah.
Because you are not going to win any case in court when it's these judges in South Africa, even if he's got the facts.
I hear you.
Even if he's not going to win any, even if it's clear-cut story. Advocate Mpofu is not going to win any political case or case that has political connotation under some judges in the Republic of South Africa, or if not all.
So I'm right then that we have a problem the minute people start saying the judiciary is compromised.
I'm one of the people who are saying the judiciary, it's infiltrated, it's compromised, and it is not as pure and as clean as it's supposed to be,
Yes.
or we're made to believe that
And we're
it
not
is.
saying all of it.
No, it can't be all. But, the old story, or old English, or old saying, one rotten potato in a bag, it spoils the whole bag, you understand? And Fresh, people are killed, people die, people lose family members, people lose jobs,
Yes.
people lose careers, people go into drugs, alcohol, suicide, depression because of judicial decisions. You understand? Because of judicial decisions.
It's people's lives.
It's people's lives that are at stake here.
Yeah.
You understand? And for what? For greed. Mainly it's for greed and nothing else. Because if I don't know what does it take to be an ethical civil servant. It takes a lot. All my adult working life, 90% of it I've been in the civil service.
Yes.
Even when I was in the private sector, working with government. So it takes a lot on you as a person to be ethical in the public service, because you are surrounded with naturally unethical people who becomes your principal. Politicians are naturally unethical people. Just those who are very ethical. Now you are there as a civil servant or as an administrator. You have to conduct yourself in an ethical manner, yet your superiors or your principals are politicians who are unethical. It becomes very difficult. But judges are not subject to that, because judges do not report to the Minister of Justice. They are not even appointed by the Minister of Justice. We have created a judicial system that is proper in this country. The system is proper. The laws are proper. The problem is the people sitting on those positions.
Yes.
And these cases that are coming out are showing us that actually there's a human element. I don't say it is normal and correct for human beings to be corrupt. I'm saying we were blinded by believing.
Sure.
We were told that pastors will pray for you. In some churches, pastors take you to a river, you are naked. And we thought, he's a pastor, we will not rape that person. How many cases do we have in this country where there is abuse of women, children by pastors?
And of power.
You understand? It's some of those. And the same with teachers, pastors, judges. Most of rapes that happened, or let me not even call them, let me just sexual offenses that happen in school, because sometimes it's towards boys. They are done by who? By the people we entrust.
Yes.
When my little girl is at school and I'm late to pick her up, I know there's a teacher.
She's safe.
She's safe.
She's supposed to be safe.
Yeah, and that's a challenge we are sitting, the moral fiber of the society and where we are as a nation. It's a challenge.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to the Gauteng debriefing and the Brazilian pilots that were purchasing after our services, or do you want to go to the silent crisis in the DA?
Let's leave the DA. Let's talk about this pilot thing. Actually, there's nothing to talk about.
Okay.
For those who didn't know, after the G20 was completed on Sunday, and it's normal practice and it's common cause that the Gauteng provincial government, because it was the host.
Yes.
And the three major metros of Gauteng, which is Ekurhuleni, Tshwane, and the city of Johannesburg, they co-hosted this whole thing. So the premier of Gauteng will have to do a debriefing of how they handled this thing. And what is the purpose of debriefing? To report back to the nation.
Yeah, but I guess the Brazilians are in trouble because of their briefs. So,
you know, whether the people who are watching this show are like these two, what are they up to now? Okay, what happened was, let me say why I brought it in the topic. I was very disappointed by Premier Lusufi and the Gauteng team that did a splendid job by hosting the G20 last weekend. But to include that as part of the debrief and the report, I was already, what for?
But why are you disappointed?
Okay, look, Fresh, this is what happens. First of all, before we go far.
Why did you get into trouble in Brazil?
Me?
Yeah, you got into trouble in Brazil because...
Oh, because to remind me that...
No, but why did you get into trouble in Brazil?
Yeah, but okay, okay. Okay, but there it was not the Brazilian, what do you call them, escorts, complaining about South African diplomats.
Sure.
It was
in Brazil. The services had been purchased already.
Yes.
But the line item was a lie.
Yes, and also it was me having a problem with that line item.
That we are lying here.
Yeah, that we are lying. We are not. It was me.
Yes.
It was not the complaint. It was not.
But you got into trouble for calling out something that has been normalized.
But no, Fresh. Prostitution or escort entity agency, it's legal in Brazil.
But what I'm saying though is purchasing it through a diplomatic office. That's also been normalized. It's part of entertainment.
Not with state monies.
It happens everywhere. Where there's nowhere where there's diplomats where people don't after hours either go to strip clubs. Trust me.
Fresh, you are spoiling my career. Not all of us.
Not all of. But if we were to get footage from any of the extracurricular buildings in the city, you will see some of your guys with the lanyards.
Okay, but what happened here, actually, it was not even entertainment. It's not even apparently, because it's been confirmed.
Yes.
The two Brazilian pilots who were stationed at the airport, logically near the airport.
Yes.
The hotels around the airport.
So they were there waiting.
They were there waiting. The delegates are with President Lula in Nazareth.
Entertainment?
And they needed entertainment, and they went to a whatever.
A place of ill repute.
Yeah, yes. To pick up two ladies.
Yes.
Smartly, so not with the state vehicle, with Uber or Bolt, whatever they are. The premier of Gauteng said it was Uber.
They thought it was Uber cool to do it, but they had to Bolt at some stage. But carry on.
So on the way to the hotel with the entertainers
in the East End,
near
the airport precinct, yes,
in Ekurhuleni, yes. Then there was a fallout of negotiations because apparently these two ladies were charging them what it was called last week in that industry. It was called the
G20 rates.
G20 tariffs or rates.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's demand. So demand and supply says, if I'm in demand, then I will supply at a higher price.
So if the regular price per night is 2,000 rand, for viewers will ask me, how do I know this? If it's 2,000
No, it's hypothetical.
Yeah. That night they were charging for locals 5,000, for foreigners 10,000.
More.
And now these Brazilian pilots, I just pray and hope they were not pilots of the president of Brazil, because this is very serious.
Sure.
Then they decided, you are overcharging us, we don't want to.
We've changed our minds.
We have changed our mind. We don't want the service anymore.
But surely they would have been told the rate before they even picked them up.
I don't know why was the rate being negotiated already en route.
Exactly.
I don't know. But like I said, maybe when they went to that place, like where Dr. Nasipi Moya of Tshwane was this week at a place called Ipintombi in Tshwane, the rates were on the wall.
Okay.
And I said, maybe these pilots saw the rates on the wall, or ask Uber drivers or ask security to say, what is the normal rate here? And they were told, and they said, okay, with the normal rate we are picking up. But remember, they also have a forex. They either have a real, which is a Brazilian currency.
Probably dollars.
Or US dollars.
Yes.
You understand? So if it's 1,000 rand, It's like $50. Understand? It's like 250 Brazilian reais. Like, no, we'll take the rate. But now, on en route to their hotel or wherever, this one's are telling them, no, we've got the G20 rate for the services. And they decided, now this is where the government of Gauteng comes in.
Okay.
They decided, we don't want trouble. Mr. Uber or Bolt driver, stop right there on the highway. Leave us. We don't want stress. So they got out of and they were walking on the highway.
So the two pilots got out of the
two
Uber.
pilots, yes. And then there was a commotion to say, no, you can't leave us just. You must pay for the Uber and you must pay us a certain percentage for wasting our time.
It's taking us from base.
Yes.
Yeah, so the opportunity cost
Yes.
must be compensated for.
Hey, you even use economic terms. Yes.
But we're selling a product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the police saw that commotion on the highway and two pilots who don't even speak English fluent, and the police intervened. South African Police Service came to the scene.
Sure.
And they intervened. And guess what? South African police became diplomats. They then started negotiating between the pilots and the service providers. What do you call them? What do you call these ladies? Service providers? What do you call them? I don't want to use the word prostitutes.
No, the escorts.
Escorts.
Yes.
So the police negotiated to say, no, man, it's dangerous. It's at night. For peace sake, you can't charge them 100% because you didn't render the service. They're abandoning the mission. At least give them discount. And according to Premier Lusufi's report, the police managed to convince the escorts to charge the pilots 30%, so they saved 70%.
Okay.
And they paid.
Which is fair.
Fresh, I don't know. I'm explaining to you.
No, I'm just saying that, okay, let's forget the fact that such work has been criminalized.
Yes.
The long and the short, though, is there was a transaction.
There was a transaction.
There was an agreement.
Yes.
There's an opportunity cost.
Yes.
So in any other scenario, if you're to take a car from Avis for a week and return it after a day, you must pay for the day.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
That's what
If you return it after 2 hours, you must negotiate to say, I kept it for 2 hours.
Exactly.
Can I pay less? But
because in those 2 hours that the car was out of the lot, someone else could have hired it, but they didn't.
Yeah. So they paid and the police took them back to the hotel. So they didn't walk to the hotel.
Yes.
And the Uber took the ladies to the... And Premier Lusufi reported, I'm a resident of Gauteng, so Premier Lusufi reported to us that along the good work we did, we had police officials negotiating a discount for escort
because we're born
girls for international pilots.
We are born negotiators.
You know what I thought, why they took this thing light? Because in Brazil, it's normal.
Yes.
It's not embarrassing.
Absolutely.
It's legal.
Yes. The areas you can go to literally to shop.
Yes, you can invite, call people.
Yes.
And so this poor pilot, shame, they probably thought this is another black country, things it's South Africa, things are normal like that. That's why they were not even afraid to tell the police what was going on. You understand? So that's the challenge. And I'm saying politically and from the public administration perspective, Panyaza Lusufi should have not included that in the state of... No, guys, that should have left that thing.
Maybe it was meant as an icebreaker of sorts, but in hindsight, it's like, oops, maybe I shouldn't have.
Yeah, you should have not included that in the report. Because now, imagine President Lula or the Brazilian authorities are now sitting there and thinking, all the pilots who were there, who is this?
Two of you, Khalilu.
Who of you have brought this into disrepute? They may be charged in Brazil.
No, but it's, I think it's inter-country relations.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good that there was no nasty things that happened.
You have assisted in these relations. You have a child in Brazil.
Yeah, but it was...
So it's all nation building, and it's part of the solidifying bricks.
This guy, Fresh.
You see.
My son in Brazil is with my then woman.
But that's the point I'm making, though, that because of that, there are relations between the two countries.
Oh, so you mean... we solidified the bilateral relations.
So all I'm saying is BRICS bilaterals by business or bums will succeed.
Can we close the show? I'm done. I'm done.
But am I wrong?
Okay, Fresh, I have no comment. Imagine the Brazilians.
But we can even have like an exchange program. where if we decriminalize sex work, because it's consenting adults, why can't two consenting adults decide that we're going to do this at a rate? Because generally dating is the same thing anyway. Wapatala,
Look. Remember, I think it's a year or two ago we had this discussion. I'm one of the people who are supporting that sex work must be decriminalized. Don't bring morals to me, because immoral things are already happening around
They're
us.
happening in the church. They're happening in parliament.
Yes,
but
they're happening in the jury, in the justice system.
But two consenting adults cannot exchange sex for money. Like how?
Yeah, no, I think we should decriminalize it. And I've said before, I've lived in two countries where sex work is in Germany and in Brazil, and it's decriminalized.
Yes.
And I think once it's legalized, it's controlled. There's protection of the workers. There's laws. They'll pay taxes and things like that. It's a very lucrative industry.
Yes.
There's a lot of money exchanging hands there.
And there's tax opportunities.
There's tax opportunities, but also mainly it's also to protect sex workers.
Yes, there's also.
And sex workers are not necessarily women, because I've learned that actually in
long Volmarans there.
Yeah.
I think Volmarans is Smith.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a slay king. Volmarans is Smith.
You know, this show is
I've
called...
lived in the city for 31 years.
Yes.
So you hear these things.
No, we should not lose
I've
focus.
never gone shopping. But you hear this.
We don't know.
Diablo.
Yes, no. But anyway, in conclusion, if Keleto hasn't called us out, you know, the 2-3 weeks back, when the Democratic Alliance recalled one of their deployees to the GNU, Dr. Geoff, or Jeff Geoff or something like that.
Yes.
I said, I'm smelling a rat. It says to me there are skirmishes and power fighting.
Yes, you said it's beyond a U.S. passport.
Yes, I said it was beyond U.S. passport, and the DA at that time said to the nation to say no, it's performance based. He was not performing well. You remember, I even said it is just a year since the GNU has formed, and how can he be the only minister who has underperformed of the DA? So for them, they created an impression that it is their own scorecard against their ministers. But did they put mitigating factors in? Did they try and help him to perform well or to succeed?
Exactly.
And I said, this doesn't make sense to me. And it
was too sudden, too abrupt.
Yes, and it was too abrupt, actually. Then I said, I've been told, and I'm picking up that there are a power mongering thing, and it has come out this week. As we close this week, the Democratic Alliance had a secret meeting there with the Federal Council to look at disciplinary hearings, and one of the disciplinary hearings is actually Mr. Steenhuisen, their leader of the DA. One of the minor and also what do you call flimsy charges is that he used the credit card of the Democratic Alliance to buy food for his own use and family. And I listened to Mehelen Zille on interview and explaining and trying so hard not to tell what's going on. And one of the questions she was asked was like, but using a credit card, can it really have to get the Federal Council Uber Itinyana? And she explained that no, but if he had bought those food and he was traveling to a meeting with some members of the DA, or he was doing some community work and he bought people food, it cannot be. But to go to an extent of even going to have a sitting and a hearing for that, instead of asking Steenhuisen to say, what was this for?
Yes.
And then I started asking, who reported Steenhuisen that he bought Nando's? Because they say it's Nando's.
Sure.
That he bought Nando's with a credit card. Who reported him? Were they auditing him? Were they checking him?
And also, have you tasted Nando's? I would also use my wet credit card. It's actually a brilliant ad for Nando's.
I think the Nando's must bring it here to the house. Let's test it.
It's a brilliant ad for Nando's.
So, and you know what they did? They showed Steenhuisen in June 2024 how he looked like, and June 2025.
Yeah, the blue light is on.
It's like
put on weight from blue light.
He's worse than me, and they're like, you see the gravy train. Yes. That's why they are called fat cats now. But I don't think there's the issue. I think there's a battle of power between Steenhuisen, Helen Zille as the chair of the Federal Council, and a cabal within the DA that is aligned to Dr. Geoff or Jeff. What is his name? Is it Jeff or Geoff. I think there is that infighting. It is going to start coming out because the DA is also preparing to go to its, to its elective conference, for lack of a better way.
For Dion George.
Dion George, yes. So I think the power infighting has started. And I think John Steenhuisen has already started to demonstrate, and him being not only the leader, but I think he's got a cordial relationship with President Ramaphosa. Yes, they've got a very good cordial relationship. I think it has given him power, and I would not be surprised that the ANC infiltration of the DA through Steenhuisen to say, can you deal with these other radical people who are being stubborn? You must check that he has been traveling. He went to China with President Ramaphosa. We know, because the Minister of Agriculture, there's a reason why he had to be there.
Yes, we need new markets.
Yes, but we know what is the DA position regarding China.
Absolutely.
And Russia. So,
but he's a minister, so he must go do his work.
Again, we know our position regarding Palestine, Israel, America of the DA.
Yes.
It is what is anti-government. And look, Fresh, it's going to be a challenge. And I think Dion Geoff was replaced very quickly. Steenhuisen didn't waste time. And by the start of this coming week, we'll start hearing from media reports if the DA will not issue a statement. And we'll start seeing more light of what is the problem and the challenge in the DA. But I can tell you, they are faced with leadership crisis. And it's nice now because in the past, when this leadership crisis happened, there were black faces. And those faces were removed. When I go to Washington to study, when I go there, Musi Maimane left. You understand? There were those challenges. But now, because it is now back to being a lily white DA in the top leadership, except the spokesperson. It's amongst themselves, and the DA it's showing its true colors. But better than any other, better than any other political party, they are again handling this very smart and closely. They are playing their cards very close. We are speculating. We are digging info here and there. Unlike if this infighting was in, for example, the ANC, the MK, and others, we will be in trouble. We will be knowing what's going on. Because one thing that the ANC does, those who are fighting, they leak info out. Understand? And that's what the ANC does. And that's how we get information of what is happening when the NEC is sitting. Even when the top 7 of the ANC sit, one of the top 7 or 2 leaks info out. Not to me specifically, but one of those 7 will even do recordings. That's why these days when they go to their meetings, they are being told, don't bring your cell phones in. But people will say, this was discussed. And then we get to know. And then we poke holes. We ask questions. And controversy has been also a little bit close because they've got like a central command. That's why we don't get to know what is happening mainly in the EFF central command. If it doesn't come from Julius, it's not the truth. So this and central command, it looks like it's helping.
And sometimes you can't blame parties that say we're not having electoral conferences because those become opportunities for people to buy positions.
Yes.
They're not necessarily based on your influence in the party, but because everyone has a price. If Botsang says for 10,000 Rand you have my vote, that's what's going to happen. So it almost makes sense because we sometimes look at parties that don't have electoral conferences and say, where's the democracy in your party?
Yes. But typical example, look at Minister Mchunu, who's from KZN. He lost the elections to Mr. AC Makashwili as the SG of the ANC, but he managed, because of the financial muscle, to infiltrate a province of Northwest.
Yes.
You understand? Why? Because he had the money, he had the brown mokotis, he had sponsors to January 8, and that's how money controls and runs politics.
Or how it corrupts politics.
How it corrupts politics. And those with a financial muscle, they tend to do well in politics.
And it's sad how there's so much paranoia within politics now. I've got friends who are in politics and they won't even communicate on WhatsApp. because they're that paranoid that they believe either their phones are tapped
Or they are watching them.
or their WhatsApps have been cloned. So they'll even tell you that, let me know where you can meet, and you must leave your phone in your car. I wouldn't be able to live like that.
Yeah, no, it's not nice. I'm gradually in that space this week and next week.
Yes.
Of leave your phone somewhere. But I've done it before. I'm used to it, but it's not nice.
Do you think they're listening to your calls?
Huh?
Do you think they're listening to your calls?
No, I know they are. I know they're listening to my calls. I know sometimes they come and tell me to say, hey, when we are listening to you, slow down with ABC a little bit. I know they are listening. So I don't care. Like I said, when you are ethical, when your conscience is clear.
When there's nothing to hide.
When there's nothing to hide, what are you hiding?
You can listen all you want.
I take my phone everywhere except when I meet a person who says, please don't bring your phone and I want something from that person.
Yes.
Then I will respect that person. But I don't have those issues. I sleep peacefully at night. And look, it's not nice to be a politician because it has become business.
Yes.
You know, and one of my
it's
neighbors...
It's about my stomach and not the empty stomachs that I expect to vote for me.
The empty stomach
Which
makes
is sad.
more noise. One of my neighbors, he has been in a labor dispute at work, and last week he called me and said, let's come have a drink. And they finally dismissed him after he's been home for 3 years. Without a case, without anything. He says to me, hey, Mona, I'm old. I'm older than you, and I'm thinking I must go to politics. I'm like, what? Why do you want stress? He says, there is money there.
Yeah.
There is money, especially in local government. I said, there's money and there's no peace of mind.
Politics is the goose that lays the golden egg. Now, unfortunately, a lot of greedy politicians want to eat the goose and not the egg. So you're going to end up with zero goose.
So that the goose must keep on laying eggs.
So the problem now is you're going to eat the goose and you're going to have no goose or eggs. And if politicians understood that, have an egg or two, but can you not touch the goose?
Fresh, I told you, I'm one step into going into politics, one step.
Can I rage, man?
I want a party that will say to me, in this party, there's zero corruption, Hareji.
Sure.
I still want one party like that to recruit me. In this party, we are not stealing.
Yes.
There's zero corruption. We are not taking money that we suspect. It's blood money.
Or dirty.
Or dirty money. Find me that party. I'll raise my hand.
Sure. But you know you're not going to do well.
No, I want to do well.
Yes, it'll be a party of 5.
Oh, you mean you won't do well electorally? Yeah, but it's challenge with politics. Our politics have become dated, and our country has become unsafe because of politics. You know, if just people can just do the work as civil servants. Yeah, thanks, Fresh. I hope we are done.
Where do we find your social media?
botsangm@gmail.com. On email 083-884-7787. That's my WhatsApp line.
Sure.
And at botsangm on all social media handles.
Sure. We want to do a snap poll. If Botsang wants to go into politics, which party do you think he would thrive within? Or if Botsang wants to start his own party, would you vote for him?
Yeah, maybe that's a good one.
Let's do a snap poll. Just leave your comments in the comment section. And also, let's interact with the topics we've been talking about. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have a different point of view? Let's have a discussion. Let's find each other where we might differ on views on certain things. Brother man, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Love and appreciate you as always.
Thank you. I love you too, my brother.
We'll see you on the radio on Monday morning just after 8. You can stream it on 938.co.za. Or if you're in Johannesburg, 938 FM. I've known him for 3 years. It's the first time he tells me he loves me back. So we're working on these people. Slowly. Raba Munyulla.
You know, there's this young man called Khotsa from Free State. I hang up with him a lot.
Yeah.
He says to me, I love you. I'm like, hey, why are you forcing it? He says, I always hear Fresh saying, I love you, bro, and you never respond.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, guys, I'm a man, man. How do I say I love you to another man?
That's half the problem with our men, that we think love is romance. We equate love with romance and intimacy.
Yeah, no.
Whereas love is an appreciation for a person and who they are and a place they hold in your life. But because we've demonized love and we think love is bums, that's the problem. You see. That's why pilots are working on freeways.
Oh, God, this was a bums, not a bumper episode. This was a bums episode. Anyway. Thanks.
We are done, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Coming to you from Discover TV. Let them be your stage. Find them in Fourways, Johannesburg. Shout out Pezulu Works for the cinematography. Trevor and his crew will film and make a movie out of whatever event you're doing. Even your DJ set, they'll turn into a movie for you, and they do great work. And Keletso Modisakeng, the mother of the nation, our executive producer. We love you, Kels, and thanks for tolerating us. And for always counting to 10 before you shout at us. At least we have 10 seconds to run. We're out of here, man. Please remember to subscribe, to like and share, and comment. Until next week, have a wow week in spite of yourselves. We're out of here. Re a leboga.